Yeah.
So James Gunn and Peter Safran to run DC.
Hmm.
Zaslav wanted his Feige, and he decided that he needed two people to get the same result.
Which is interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I think you know, it, for me, it's kind of mixed. I kind of have mixed emotions here. Like, I mean, I
Yes.
do. What's that?
Yes, I agree. You go
Okay.
you go first because I was ranting enough there for the both
Yeah.
of us.
Um, but I mean, I like Guardians of the Galaxy. Um, I like the first one better than the second one. But and so uh, Now I haven't seen the Suicide Squad yet, so I can't comment on that. Um, but I mean, James Gunn does seem to have some creative chops,
Mhm.
and he's able to have a pretty good balance between being serious when he needs to and being funny when it calls for it. So who knows?
Yeah, he does have apparently a long history of talking about how much he likes DC Comics.
Mm.
So, and I watched half of the Suicide Squad. Around the point where they were revealing Starro, I was like, I'm not enjoying myself. I'm out. And then I
Yeah.
tried to watch Peacemaker. 2 episodes in, this just makes me depressed. I'm out. Like it's weird when you like watching Midnight's Edge and having Chato and all these other people I respect talking about how much they loved those. Just like I guess you guys just enjoy mean-spirited, nihilistic action comedy more than I do.
Yeah. Yeah. And well, the other thing too, like they really didn't like the Batman very much, and which we both liked. So
Yeah.
that's
So
yeah.
we're reasonable minds will differ.
Yeah.
So now Batman, the Batman wasn't perfect, but
Mm.
I wasn't as critical of it as they were. So it's just.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so I haven't completed any of James Gunn's DC work. By the way, this guy on the left here is Peter Safran, but everybody kept showing pictures of it while talking about James Gunn in their live streams or whatnot. It's like,
Yeah.
holy crap, did James Gunn age 20 years since the last time I saw him? Because nobody was like putting him side by side while I was. Mind you, I tend to watch a lot of live streams,
Mhm.
audio only, but still, like when I was looking, I was like, "Holy crap, James, what happened? Did,
Yeah.
did you
Well,
just stop dyeing your hair while you were on lockdown?"
that's probably what it was. Yeah, he just,
Oh,
just
oh,
stopped
oh.
dyeing his hair.
And it's like, oh wait, no, that's Peter Safran over there. Okay,
Well, no, that's James Gunn.
on the left, that's James Gunn.
That's James Gunn. Yeah.
Wait, what? I, okay, let's. I, I get.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah. That's Peter.
yeah,
Peter
okay,
yeah. Yeah.
that's okay. Never mind. So Peter Safran looks vaguely enough. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Peter
Yeah.
Safran looks vaguely okay. Or those are some extremely bleached tips there
Yeah.
because that doesn't necessarily look like a natural color of white.
Well,
But
maybe. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. He could be dyeing it platinum blonde. Yeah.
yeah, okay. So okay, I guess okay that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Kind of surprising, but it makes more sense.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a step back. So uh, is my view of James Gunn kind of tinted by the semi-successful cancellation attempt that went on a while back? Probably just because, like, yeah, that's a gross sense of humor you got there.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people will say, what a lot of people say about that is, well, that was a long time ago. It was when he was working for Trauma.
Right.
Um, and for those of you who don't know, Trauma is it's a independent movie studio owned by Lloyd Kaufman, who's kind of a weird guy.
Sounds like
And
it's kind of like edgelord entertainment.
very much, yeah, yeah. And so he was making a lot of real edgy jokes, and yeah, but not, and I'm not making an excuse for it. I'm with you. It's a very very disturbing sense of humor, but at the but I think he did apologize for it.
You did.
So
So
yeah,
I have to be consistent with my own principles. Okay, water under the bridge, but it still kind of affects how I view him.
yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, yeah, it's hard not to. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but okay, let's take that away. So
Mhm.
you can have people who are themselves don't necessarily live up to the ideals of these superheroes who can still do good work with them.
Mhm.
Like oh, uh, I think it was Warren Ellis. No, it's Warren. I always get Warren Ellis and Garth Ennis confused. One of the two of them had Superman show up in one of his DC comics, and he wrote him very well
Mm,
from things I've seen.
okay.
So, you can a good writer can understand other perspectives and not make every character themselves.
Right. Yeah.
So so James, if he understands these characters, which I don't necessarily have a reason to think he doesn't,
Mhm.
like because everything we've seen from him that's superhero related is something where he's taking the piss.
Yeah.
Either either it's ridiculous space antics with Marvel,
Mhm.
or it's ridiculous like Suicide Squad is an edgy nihilistic concept anyway.
Mhm.
So it's not like if you're doing it right, it's not going to be happy fun times, good for the kids stuff.
Yeah.
So I guess we just haven't seen him we haven't seen him do the sincere superhero story.
Yeah.
The other thing is that being the head doesn't necessarily mean that you're the one directing it. So if
True.
if
Yeah.
he has contacts and he chooses the right people, then he might be great.
Yeah. 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 It definitely depends on who he brings in to work on these projects. Yeah.
Which among them will be Henry Cavill.
Hey.
From the sounds of it, he is in as long as it has a good pitch. And this is one that actually just came out a little bit ago. Henry Cavill says the Superman will be enormously joyful going forward, bright future ahead.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah.
as long as James Gunn was involved with that determination, like that itself says that he's able to take his normal proclivities and out of the equation.
Right. Yeah. Because I'll be honest. In my opinion, Zack Snyder does not understand Superman.
No, he gets Batman pretty decently, or at least he gets like Dark Knight Returns Batman.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely Frank Miller Batman. Yeah,
Yep.
but yeah, Superman not so much.
No, I finally watched Man of Steel either last year or the year before,
Hmm.
and my overall take on it was, well, that was better than I was expecting, and some of the things people take out of context to talk about how awful the movie is doesn't entirely fly. Oh, so that means you liked the movie? No, I'm just being fair.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't hate Man of Steel, but I didn't necessarily love it either. I think the third act kind of falls apart, especially the fight with Zod. Just went on a little too long.
Yeah, it's and it kind of sounds, how to put it. I'm kind of bored of CGI punch fests,
Yeah, I am too. Yeah,
but which is part of why I'm waiting for streaming for Black Adam.
yeah,
Although the offer is still good for 1 week. If we get one comment or request to review it, we'll make a Black Adam review happen.
Yes. Yeah.
So far, we have gotten none.
Mhm.
Now, mind you, this, it's not because our channel has like double-digit views. No, that can't be it. It's because there's no popular demand for this movie.
Right, right.
But if this is true, if Henry is actually getting a more more uh,
More of a Christopher Reeve-esque
yes, that's the
Superman.
word.
Yeah.
Yeah, Christopher Reevesy Superman.
Mhm.
Uh, then then yeah, that gives me a lot of hope. I hope he gets something different than Lex Luthor over and over again. A Brainiac movie would be nice.
Oh yeah, yeah. Or who's another good one? Yeah, I can't think of another good villain for a movie. Not.
Yeah, Metallo feels like he would be better off as somebody's minion.
Mhm. And they already did Doomsday.
Yep.
Um, Mixie Spitlick, I don't think would work.
No, that would be one for like that's one where if you have an animated series, that's where it's like you can have the one episode with him.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Parasite might be good.
yeah, you might even be able to combine Parasite and Metallo into one movie if you did it right.
Yeah,
Because it's both about yeah, like you could have Metallo be somebody who is horribly injured while Superman is fighting Parasite and gets turned into a cyborg and blames Superman for no reason
yeah,
or for
yeah,
minimal reason.
yeah, yeah, and then give him the kryptonite, power source.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually, you could, if you wanted to have continuity with Man of Steel, you could have Metallo be one of the victims of the Zod fight.
oh, yeah, that would be good. Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cinematic worthy villains that Superman has. It's just a matter of the right script and tone. And this is
mhm.
implying we're getting the right tone, at least.
Yeah, yeah,
Script to be determined.
yes, yeah, and like I said, as long as Zack Snyder isn't involved.
Yes. And I'll also just so yeah, it's always part of the reason I don't really pull up articles to talk about in advance is that things like this happen where if I had pulled up an article yesterday, this wouldn't have existed yet,
Yeah.
and I would be much more negative. But just Cavill's a good dude. I have
Oh
no
yeah.
reason to think he's a
Yeah.
liar or anything
Yeah.
or mistaken or anything like that. So he seems trustworthy. He's an actual fan of these things.
Hmm.
I think they even tried to goad him into some fan baiting, and he rejected it in an interview.
Yeah, yeah. It was when he was promoting The Witcher, and
That's right.
yeah, yeah, and yeah, he tried to, yeah, the interviewer tried to bait him with like toxic fandom or whatever, and he
Yeah,
said, no, no, they're just passionate. Yeah,
yeah. So he seems like good people. So
yeah,
that immediately took me from uh, pessimistic caution to optimistic caution.
yes,
But yeah, we'll see where that goes. It
yeah,
also probably means that we're getting I think we already had another season of Peacemaker greenlit, but it means that like it's interesting. The Suicide Squad was objectively a huge bomb, but it also came out in 2021. So it sounds like
yeah,
everybody at DC liked the Suicide Squad, which is part of why Gunn got the offer.
yeah. Yeah, and the only thing I will say too, I did get spoiled by the ending because I know like the some of the Justice League show up, and Momoa and Ezra Miller
That's, yeah.
had a cameo in there.
And it kind of sounds like it took the piss out of that version of the Justice League too. So points there for making fun of the Snyderverse.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic about the next Superman movie.
Yes. Let's see here. So things we're not talking about this week: Wakanda Forever trailer. Woohoo! We now know that Riri Williams is in it, which we already did.
Yeah. Mm,
Which so we don't feel like talking about that.
no.
That never even came up when we were discussing topics this week.
Yeah.
However, this is slightly old news. We realized we neglected one of the ongoing touchstones of the channel.
Yes.
So transition. Speaking
Ezra.
of Ezra, it looks like Ezra Miller's next cameo may be inside of a prison cell.
Yeah. Yeah, so he had his well, he hadn't really, he kind of had his day in court. Pled not guilty to the burglary charges from back in May. Um, and yeah, as it says up there, he could face up to 26 years in prison. I think one of the that's the max, and I think it's like one of it's the breaking and entering is 25 years, and then there's another charge on there that's a year. I think I can't remember what that one was.
Yeah, it's according to this, it's one count of burglary and one count of petite larceny, as opposed to grand larceny, small larceny.
Right? Yeah, yeah. Because the I think the alcohol he stole was valued under $1,000.
Right. I think the bigger problem is, the person was home at the time when he broke in.
Hmm.
Now, is it likely that they'll throw the whole book at him?
No,
No,
I don't think so. No.
no. Now it is interesting to think about it because yeah, technically everything else has been dropped.
Mhm.
Many people have likened this to Al Capone going to jail on tax evasion,
Yeah.
as far as the seriousness of things that Ezra is alleged to and has been videotaped doing.
Yeah. Choking a pregnant woman and throwing her to the ground. Uh,
No.
um, but yeah, I think yeah, Ezra Miller is probably what will multiple things that'll probably happen. He might take a plea deal for a lesser charge.
Hmm.
If he gets found guilty, he might get a nice little slap on the wrist. Something along those lines.
Yeah, it does sound like Warner Brothers is just plain done. They're just plain out of the Ezra business.
Hmm.
Like they're getting a new Flash regardless. I guess we'll just see if we're getting a new Flash in the next movie.
Yeah, they've already spent a lot of money on that movie, so it'd be interesting to see if they want to spend any more on it.
And it sounds like the response to Fact People has been good. I'm just
Mhm.
not interested in seeing it while Ezra is in it, and not even just because of Ezra's crimes. I was anti Ezra before Ezra's like dark side came out. I just thought that Ezra was like was an awkward. I don't know. I'm trying to think of terms for what I hated about him in the Justice League movies that aren't mean and dismissive, but it's like just
Yeah,
cringe. Every scene
cringe.
was cringe.
That's a good word for it. Yeah, yeah. They tried. Well, they tried to make him the Spider-Man of the Justice League, and it didn't work.
No. Partly because maybe if his name was Wally West, that would fit a little bit more. But
Yeah.
Barry was like the reason they let Barry die for so many years is because Barry was kind of a stiff character.
Hmm. Yeah, he was. Yeah, and I've heard Ethan Van Sciver talking about him because I mean he drew the Flash. He worked on the comic book. Barry Allen was a very like a man's man kind of guy. He's
Hmm.
very just the buff hero, and Ezra Miller's version of the character isn't.
Nope. So we'll see what comes of that. Regardless, I figure it's going to get reduced. Oh, actually, serious thing. If Warner Brothers was fully behind Ezra, I could see them paying for the high-powered lawyers you know to make something happen.
Hmm.
As it is, depending on when the movie releases versus when the trial happens, okay, fine. Uh, we let's just say hypothetically, Flash drops in March. Oh, the actual trial starts in April.
Mm.
Uh, I don't know when the Flash actually drops. I'm just making up an example.
I think it drops in June or July.
Right. So I guess it depends on the timing. if the
Hmm.
trial, if Ezra is sentenced when people are going to think about it, uh, maybe they just maybe they just downplay it and
Hmm.
they let the other actors handle the promotion.
Yeah. 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 I don't think I think regardless, Ezra Miller is not going to do any. Probably not. It isn't going to do any promotion on this movie.
No, uh,
Yeah.
I have a slight inkling that Ezra might have done one too many crappy things for the authorities in Vermont to let him off with a slap on the wrist. I don't know. I guess I'd have to look up the DA and see what their record was, because of course you have DAs who love throwing people in prison versus DAs who would probably look at Ezra's non-binary identity and give credit for that.
Yeah. Or you have a DA looking to make a name for themselves and
Oh yeah,
you know want to who's aspiring for higher office.
right. Like you know, uh, which could honestly mean either pro or anti. So it's just
Yeah.
it's very up in the air. But I have this feeling that I had this feeling that something is finally going to happen.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I
But
think so too.
you've seen our record on on permission on our predictions. So
Yeah. Yeah. Ugh.
speaking of predictions, have you ever heard the saying that economists have predicted 20 of the last 5 recessions? Um,